This is not. Oh, this is great for Vita Vea. This is not. The Buccaneers are they're in shambles right now. The Eagles have signed Jalen Carter, 4-year, $152 million extension worth up to $160 million, $106 million guaranteed. That now makes him the highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history per his agent, Drew and Jason Rosenhaus. So that's around, if he were to make the $106 million, you're looking at like $26, $27 million a year. And then if he hits all of it, it's what'd you say the number, $38 million?
Yeah, $38 million is what the salary cap reads. But again, we all know the cap is crap.
Man. All right. So Vita Vea is looking at that going, all right, I want to be paid. But here's the difference. Jalen Carter is 25 years old. Vita Vea is 31. You're not going to reset the market if you're Vita Vea. And I don't know if he's looking for a market reset or not. But, seeing this report come out, that's not good.
No. Well, and the other thing, too, is when you look at the top, the top five? Yeah, the top five highest paid D tackles. Obviously now it's Jalen Carter at 38, Jeffrey Simmons at 35.2, Chris Jones at 31 3/4, Dexter Lawrence at 28, and Milt Williams at 26. So is Vita Vea looking for 28, 30? Like that's a lot for a guy who's 31 years old.
I would give him that for this year. Beyond that, I can't. Here's the deal that I would give him that I said earlier that I would do. I'd bump him up to 28 this year. You got some extra. You got all that money that you offered Mike Evans, right? We know they offered him like $20+ million. They were willing to overpay him. In my opinion, they were going to overpay. Give that money to Vita Vea, and then that makes him a top 3 paid. Well, not anymore. Now makes him a top 4 top paid defensive interior lineman. Next year, it's $24 million, which makes him top 10, probably closer to top 15 once all these deals are done. And then at the age of 33, I'm going to pay him $18 million. That puts him in the top 20, and we call it a day. And if he still wants to play after that, well, you can go elsewhere, or you're going to sign a team-friendly deal. We've been great to you. I can't imagine that he thinks he's going to reset the market. I would be surprised if that's what he's trying to do. Is he worth more than what he's getting paid? 100%. But he is the one that signed that long-term deal. And these guys sign that long-term deal for the security, and the teams do the long-term deal because they get to save money. Now, I think that Vita Vea, the more and more I look at this. Now, yesterday when I came on the air, I said I think we might have seen him in a Buccaneers uniform for the final time. Now that I really look at it, I still think the Buccaneers hold all the cards. Now, I'm not afraid to say it if I believe it that he could be on another team, right? Like I'm the one that, I took a lot of criticism, but I stood here and I said Mike Evans wasn't coming back. And because I didn't see it happening. And guess what? Mike Evans is gone. Now with Vita, I think the more and more I dive into this, I think he's going to be around. Because I think the Bucs have all the cards. You have the ability to play chicken. You have the ability to go, look, dude, I'm not paying you. And you're going to play on this deal, or you're going to sit out an entire year, and then you're going to miss out on $18 million. And good luck in a deal next year. At 32 years old, you're not going to be making top dollar. So I do think they figure this out. I don't think Vita Vea gets traded because there's not much value there in trading him. 3rd-round pick. Probably what you're going to get. I say a 2nd round, maybe if you're desperate. Someone's desperate, but, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Let's go to Freddie in Clearwater. What's up, Freddie? You're on the Nick Wize Show.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for taking my call.
No problem. Thanks for listening.
Yes, sir. Couple of points. Number one, I like Baker, and I think that we should go ahead and pay him, but I would draft John Mateer from Oklahoma, or C.J. Bailey, North Carolina State, and just groom these guys. So if Baker wants to leave down the road or they want to trade him, I think John Mateer, with a young, running, throwing, thinking quarterback to go with this young group, we'd be in good hands. Now, as far as Vita Vea goes, I'm a Bud fan, been since '96. I think that if we don't want to pay the man, which I think we should, let him go to my second team, and that's Baltimore. I guarantee you they'll pay him. And I just think that the Bucs shouldn't play around with these players. This guy's been a model citizen, a model player. Pay the guy. If you keep him around, his skill set starts to diminish. He can groom the young talent coming in. You can use him as a situational player. And let's keep him here, retire him, and not let him go. Those are my feelings. So what do you think of that?
Well, Freddie, you mentioned John Mateer. I love John. I'm a big John Mateer guy. I think he's fantastic. You're talking about a guy as of right now who's looking like a late day 2, possibly day 3 pick. I don't have a lot of faith in that being my franchise quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield is vital to this team. I think he is the identity of this football team. I think he is the glue to this football team, especially if a new coach is coming in. Now, you could say, well, if a new coach is coming in, that means Baker Mayfield didn't quite have a very good season. Maybe, or maybe the defense just didn't live up to it. My problem, Freddie, is I feel like we look at the last half of that year and we don't put into an account of what happened the first 2.5 years. And, we got a text message earlier that, mentioned this is a guy, he's been a journeyman quarterback. Nobody really wanted him. Why would you pay him all this money? I think the Minnesota Vikings probably wish they would have held on to their journeyman quarterback in Sam Darnold, who got a nice deal in Seattle. I don't believe in talking about a guy that might be a late day 2, day 3 pick. Hell, Freddie, I don't believe in trying to talk about a rookie quarterback drafted in the first round. Like Baker Mayfield, I think gives you a lot of good things despite the negative stuff that happened last year. I still think the positive outweighs the negative. And I think we're so quick to go, we'll test our luck in the draft. And Freddie, I know you hail here in Tampa Bay from Baltimore, but this team doesn't draft good quarterbacks. The best quarterback, people are going to blow up the text line when I say, what do you mean we haven't drafted? They're going to say Doug Williams. Then you're going to look at his record and you're going to go, an under 500 guy is one of their best quarterbacks.
Well, we had Steve Young,
but he didn't
also,
play here.
If you remember, right, but what I'm getting at is we've had him and let him go. But my thing is this. I remember Dan Marino when he was at Pittsburgh. His junior year, he got hurt. Senior year, he didn't play. Nobody wanted the kid. He goes to Miami. They pick him up. The rest is history. So I think Baker, like you said, I think he is the marked man for Tampa. Let's keep him. And he's a warrior. The guy plays hard. He plays hurt. And I think he is a leader. So, yes, we do need to keep him. I do agree with you. But we need to get a secondary quarterback in the event that we run into this situation. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree, Freddie. I don't think you're going to be in the position to get a secondary quarterback. They don't grow on trees. And even if you do, have such a bad season where you're drafting high to get a quarterback, you're still a couple years away from that quarterback being good.
I feel like either way you're going to piss Baker off because, all right, let's say you do sign him to a long-term extension, but you do draft, let's say, John Mateer in the second round. You think he's going to be happy about that?
Well, they wouldn't do that.
No, I know, but you know what I'm trying to get at.
But I don't feel look, I think John Mateer is great. I picked him to win the Heisman last year, and then he got hurt, let me down. But, to feel comfortable with that, I don't. I'd feel comfortable with Baker Mayfield. Let's go to Chris in St. Pete. What's up, Chris?
Oh, hey, Nick. Thanks for taking. I just wanted to bring up the point about Vita Vea's agent. He's, it's also a competitive field for those guys, and I think, and I'm pretty sure, it's Vita Vea is his, no pun intended, but it's his biggest agent. So, his biggest client. So he's trying to get because the next contract for Vita Vea is going to basically be probably his last contract. So he wants to try to get him paid because he's going to get paid. So I just wanted you to kind of touch on that a little bit. The agent probably put it in his ear. Hey, we got to get paid. Like, look at all these other guys that are getting paid this year. We got to get you paid because at the end of the day, he's going to get paid too.
Yeah, look, I think this is more than just the agent. I think this is Vita Vea as well. I appreciate the call. Vita Vea is his biggest client. He's also his next biggest client. We're talking about Colin Roberts, the agent. He's got Jalen Watson of the Rams making $17 million a year. And then his third biggest client's Kate Otten, who's making $10 million a year. So two of his biggest clients are Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then he's got Roma Dunze, Dalton Kincaid, Zachariah Branch, who's a rookie. He's got Jake Browning, too, the backup quarterback. So, yeah, he is one of his biggest clients, but I don't think it has anything to do with the agent. I mean, look, agents are always involved, yes, but I think this is the agent and Baker Mayfield. I think this is the agent and Vita because, look, Vita Vea is being told you're underpaid, and he is being underpaid. And again, I'm okay if the Bucs want to bump him up this year, but to sign him long-term and overpay, that's where it's dangerous. That you can't do because as valuable as Vita Vea is right now to this franchise, I don't think he's as valuable in 2 years or 3 years when he's 34 and 35. He's a tricky one. If I had to pick between long-term of Baker and long-term Vita, this might be an unpopular opinion here, but I'm going Baker Mayfield.